Welcome, everyone. Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, here's an interesting coming out of our research and facilities that we've had for a year or two is an interesting little symbolic machine made from Italy, which has a great interest in radionics. There's many books from the Italians on radionics, which is quite interesting. And this is a symbolic board. With a couple of interesting, what's nice about this symbolic board, and again, this comes from, let's take this off, is that it has these, you can see it is, here's the Italian instructions for it, but it works like any other symbolic, quote, Hieronymus machine. And these have been very popular, and it's always thought that the symbolic ones do generate similar energies because the circuitry of these things really are meaningless in the electromagnetic spectrum. But there is something to physical machines, or this kind of simplistic diagram we find is not nearly as powerful as more complicated ones. But all this is basically they've taken the Hieronymus design, they've blown it up, they put it on a nice little board here. So you've got this strong board. And what that's nice about this is they actually give you dialing capacities. There's 3 different pointers for your, so if you want to come up with a rate on here. And so you can just insert it here. There's holes at the bottom here. And then you put it on this little peg. And this allows you to turn it around. And there's 3 different one of these that you can use. I'm not sure why they are different there. I don't know what the benefits of that is. But you get 3 different ones. So that when you're actually dialing these, you can dial them. So it takes you past just the symbolic part of things to be a actual, to get involved with it directly. So it's nice to have a little tuning. It gets you to concentrate on the process. It gets you to able to get more involved with the circuitry, etc. So this is a classic design here of a Hieronymus machine. It's a little different in some of it, but it gives you a big, this is your witness. I should say this is your rubbing plate, your out plate. Here's your in plate. It flows in here. You then can use your pendulum to here. This is your out plate or your rubbing plate. And it's a big one, so you can put a lot of things on there if you want to. And of course, it has your typical little diagrams here and your electrical circuit stuff. And it seems to be okay. One of the problems is that technically all these things are kind of wrong because this is not connected. So this actual coil doesn't really go into it. But symbolically, there's supposed to be something underneath here. But that's not really very good. And of course, it's kind of disconnected here as well. It's connected here. But those are things that are minor. This is what people have been using successfully. But these are not the best designs. People, again, are following too closely to what has been told them by idiots. And that's who your radionic practitioners are. They're stooges, they're idiots, they're the cretin freaks of the world. And they're selling you garbage and lying to you about it. So that's the problem. But this is a nice little board that we're going to be offering for sale. These are a lot of the prototypes that we got out there, things we test. I try and test everything that comes on the market. I found this kind of interesting. And you certainly can use this in many different ways to dial in like any other radionic instrument that you would use, particularly these symbolic ones. So just the fact of placing something on here and placing something on here, and then, of course, going through a little bit of dialing using a pendulum is going to give you a good psychic connection and manifestation realities of it. And when you use patterns like this is kind of amplifying it, sending the energy here. So these certainly do work, but without amplifiers, without transmitters, all of this tech is very, very weak. So that's the problem with it. You could add amplifiers and to these types of units. We do have many that we offer that are low cost. So those are things you could add in if you really wanted to. So there are many things you can do to upgrade something like this inexpensively, which I would encourage people to do. But you can use it like this as well. this will be up in our, as I said, our prototype research page that we are liquidating a whole bunch of our stuff with. So check the link below to see what the price and availability is. So here's a little, here's our classic little amplifier. It's a great little amplifier. The importance is it picks up energies in the tubes here. We're not using it for the traditional uses here. We're using it as an amplifier of specific types of energies. And generally, all this stuff will come with additional energy plates. As I said, we recommend getting something like this that you could put right on your circuit like this. Plug it in and run it. There's not much you need to connect with. The energies of these things go into the tubes naturally and amplify the process, and these are inexpensive. So it's a cheap way to get a radionic machine. It's also a cheap way to get an additional one. One of the problems with radionics is that you can only work on one person and one problem at a time. So it means you have to have numerous machines. I'm correcting this in the near future where you'll be able to work on multi-situations with one machine. But once those come out, you will see them and we will announce them to you. But for the time being, you can only work on one person on one particular energy at a time. So that means if you want your health taken care of, you want your finances taken care of, you want some protection, you basically would either have to rotate your machines constantly, putting them on for 7 to 10 days each, which is what I recommend, or you have to get 3 different machines. Most people that get into scalar radionics tends to have at least 2 or 3 machines because there are multi areas that you have to work on. So this is all part of the process of doing things. And of course, there are other things you can do as well too. We have a new kind of interesting new little Tesla zapper, which is this particular product. This is a little Tesla gun. And once you've set everything up, you can, especially for these basically type of schematic radionics, that you use is that you can actually use, and we turn this on here, you can see how the light comes on, or did it? Let's see. Here we go. And what you can do is when you have someone's picture or other things, you can, and you put it on here, is then you actually, let's see here. You shoot, of course, you can't see it, but what you're doing is actually, this is a little Tesla coil here, and that you then energize the entire process here. I think this probably needs to be charged. So that's exactly how you can use the new Tesla gun that's out there. It's a quite interesting and fun unit. But this is just another way to amplify the process that you're doing when you're using these symbolic circuits, which tend not to have a little energy. Now, generally, you don't want to put a lot of energy there. If you had a regular Tesla coil and left it on, that's really bad because you're blowing the energies out. But something like this is something that you can actually just give a spurt. As you can hear right there, that's the shooting out of the electromagnetic energy. You got to let it build up a little energy to do it again. And then you just shoot it. If you, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me see if we can see that down there. So it has to build up a wee bit of energy. Then you shoot out a little Tesla spark, which is basically, this is a Tesla coil here that then shoots out of this gun type thing. Let's see here. Cycle it a little bit. And then, I don't know if you can probably see that to some extent. There we go. So this is a cool gadget to, anytime you want to shoot a little Tesla energy into something, is that you get a little Tesla gun like this. And we'll be offering those on our website soon. And you charge them up and so forth. It's a new item that I have. But this is a fun little tool to have. It is effective for what it is, but without amplifiers, all of this kind of tech is extremely weak. Unless you're using an amplifier or some other type of course, we use our 8 hertz generators with most of our units. The The generators, the frequency generators that are set at this 7.8 to 8 hertz are critical to open up energy so that the scalar waves can function at a higher level, and you can get much better results. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. Here's another rare unit you probably never see anywhere else. These are no longer made. These are, again, a fun little item. And for those looking for low cost, well, here's a great way to get something low cost that you can then use and experiment with or use as an extra unit. Hope you've enjoyed. More to come.